Welcome back to the channel. Max is back. The last video, the feedback was unbelievable. We've had so many views as well, so thank you so much to anyone that watched it. But the one thing we found from the last video is that everyone wants to know who Max is, how good of a footballer is he, who's he played for.
Bang average, but yeah.
And just gonna get to know Max and see what he's been up to in his career as a footballer. So we're gonna make that video today. We're gonna get into it, and we're just hopefully gonna answer some of the questions you guys have had about Max and his playing career.
Yeah.
So, Max, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who have you played for? What have you done in your career? Just a little brief history.
Yeah, so I mean, I've finished the season just in the National League with Wealdstone. Had a non-league career, 5 or 6 years now. And yeah, started at Wycombe professionally. But I mean, we could get into it, what happened before and things like that. But played 80, 90 odd games for them in League Two. Lost at Wembley. Bad.
So you've played at Wembo.
I didn't get on at Wembley. It's a big target of mine to get back there one day in a playoff, in a promotion, in a trophy game, and you know, probably not the FA Cup final or semi-final.
Never know.
You never know. But yeah, so that's a big target of mine. And yeah, from Wycombe went to Woking, things like this in the non-league, and yeah, lots of stories I could tell, lots of insight I could give to the viewers at home.
So you've got nearly 100 league games under your belt.
Yeah.
So your opinion is valid.
Well, Is that what you define as valid? Having played 100 games?
It's 100 more games than me and probably 100 more games than a lot of other people out there.
Anyone's opinion is valid. It's just how you come across and things like that. But I suppose you look at TV, BT, Sky, Match of the Day, all the big boys are on there and they're on there for a reason. So, yeah, I mean, if we can do that on a much smaller scale, I guess it'd be, pretty good and interesting.
One thing I just want to add as well is non-league is no knock. You're pretty confident that some of the teams you've played this season are good enough for League One already.
Oh, League One maybe. League Two, definitely.
Could they go up straight away?
I think Notts County and Wrexham will be in the top 7 next season. Notts County, funnily enough, are the best non-league team I've played against, like passing the ball wise and just full stop.
Some classy players there. They've obviously just got promoted in the playoff final, if anyone watched.
They won on penalties against Chesterfield. 2-2 after.
Penalty from Bostock.
Yeah, maybe that's another discussion for another day. And Wrexham, obviously, we'll know about.
Actually, that's one thing we should add. Max is an unbelievable penalty taker. A penalty specialist, we should probably say. Is that fair enough?
I've got a good record, yeah.
Very good record.
Yeah. And I've got thoughts about that as well, but I might leave that to the end of my career, maybe not giving goalies a secret, but yeah, I definitely have a process for taking penalties, and yeah, it's been successful so far.
Penalty coach one day, maybe.
Never
know.
I mean, Liverpool got a set piece coach. Well, I think they're getting rid
of him.
Throw-ins,
the lot.
Throw-ins, yeah. And so Wrexham, obviously, everyone knows about that story this season. Plenty of money going in there, and they got the job done. Fair play to them.
Yeah.
Over 105 points or something crazy like that. So, yeah, played against some big teams, and like we said, I expect them to go finish in the top 7 in League Two next season. Okay,
so I want to get into it a little bit more. So the beginning, that's always the part I always don't know enough about, to be honest with you, is where'd you start? How'd you start? And like, did you get into an academy? Did you get scouted later on? What happened there?
Yeah, so we can go back to the real beginning. I'm a Surrey boy. I was born in Kingston, so I played for Molesey, my local club, in black and white. Luke Shaw played for
I was going to say Luke Shaw.
Yeah, Luke Shaw played for the same, Cameron McGee, and I think he's in Belgium at the minute.
Norwich and Chelsea.
Yeah, that's correct as well. So, yeah, I mean, we played, I'd done my trials at Chelsea, Arsenal, things like this, and always was too small, basically. I was quite thin. I'm still quite small now, but 5'10", so not that small. But
that is a crazy thing with English football, right? Is the too small argument. I always find that baffling.
At the time, everyone was trying to find athletes and then teach them to play football. That is what scouts were looking for at the time. We had a tournament in Camberley, so outside of Surrey, Hampshire way, and there was a Southampton scout there. We won the tournament. I scored 2 in the final, like a really
penalties.
1 free kick, 1 just open play. Very rare for me that now. So yeah, like got scouted for Southampton. 100 kids went down there. Bit like the weakest link or like X Factor or something. Just gets whittled down.
So it's like an eliminator all the way through.
It was, and I think only 2 of us got to train with, let's say, the under 10s at the time. Who there was maybe like.
So you're so young at that point as well, under 10.
Yeah,
right? It's crazy.
And obviously being from like Molesey or Invercourt way. Southampton's pretty far.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I got signed when I was 10, left there when I was 15. Tears, everything, rejection, all that, tough. Everyone goes through it.
That's an elite academy, by the way. Think about the players that have come through Southampton.
Well, to put it in perspective, we obviously got free tickets to the youth team, FA Youth Cup game, so the under-18s. Lallana, Walcott, Nathan Dyer.
Bale?
Yeah, McGoldrick. Bale was playing first team already when I was there. So, honestly, I think it was one of the best academies in the world at that time. Chelsea weren't producing any players at that stage. I think we'd done the John Terry one. And then Jody Morris.
So that was like the gap where like
big gap.
It wasn't until like McEachran that someone came through, right?
Yeah, and even like Josh didn't really play that much for the first team. Had a great football league career and things like that. So yeah, they were honestly probably pound for pound producing the most players who ended up playing for Real Madrid.
Yeah, all over the world, right?
Yeah.
All over the world.
So an amazing place to be. Released there at 15, like I said, tears, horrible. Got put in touch with Brentford and Wickham. Signed for Wickham, signed under 15s, loved it there. And yeah, went 15s, 16s, went full-time between 16s and 18s. They call it like an apprenticeship.
Right.
Best years of your life. Loads of stories on and off the pitch. Just brilliant. I lived above a pub with 9 other lads, or 8 other lads, 9 of us.
It's almost the worst place to live as a young footballer.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, to
you
be
can't
fair,
take advantage of it.
It was such a bad pub. Like, no one was drinking behind the bar and that. And obviously, we had a really good group of players. Like, I think over 3 or 4 years, we had 8 or 9 players go and have football league careers. So it was quite professional, even though maybe the place didn't maybe suggest that. Yeah, and I mean, got offered a pro contract at 18. First year pro, didn't play a single minute.
Oh, is that tough?
Really tough. I'd pride myself on being on the best in training, or, you know, week in, week out training, working my nuts off. I was on the bench twice, obviously never come on. And then the manager got sacked that season.
Who was the gaffer?
It was Gary Wooddock.
Okay.
So he's had a very good, football league career with QPR and other bigger teams. Great manager. And Gareth Ainsworth then took over as player manager. And it got to the end of the season, not played a single minute, and he said, "Look, we want to keep you, so we're going to offer you another year, but we need you to like go in the gym." Like, again, I was small, skinny, not ready for first team football, men's football. Never went on loan, never really cropped up. So yeah, went back to Molesey. I'm not going to say I battered the gym, but I can tell for the fact that I was in the gym the day after we broke up. Didn't get huge because I've never been huge, but got strong.
But you don't want to get too big as a player, right?
No.
There's a good balance you got to have.
Yeah, and also huge, but really fit as well. A lot of lower body stuff. And yeah, just come back, smash pre-season, come on off the bench for my Football League debut against Morecambe, the first game of the season. And I was just like, yeah, I want a taste of this. I want more of this. So yeah.
So you got played first game of the season.
I come off the bench for 3 minutes.
So that shows how important that summer was.
100%, yeah.
Working hard and the stuff. I don't think people realise that, but if you know footballers away from the game, the stuff, the sacrifices and the hard work that goes in away from all the cameras and all that stuff that the fans see week in, week out, it's crazy.
Well, I mean, if you're going to the top level, these guys aren't getting a summer. Your players that are going to the Euros, the World Cup. I think this summer is going to be their first summer in 3, 4, 5 years. You've got the Nations League, the Euros. Obviously, the World Cup got changed a little bit.
You're
this
making
year.
me feel bad about giving them stick after every game.
Well, that's kind of what I'm hoping to do on the podcast as well, or on the channel, is to give you that other side of the view. And I think we'll balance off quite nicely. So, yeah, I mean, by October, I'd been offered another contract, 2.5 years.
That's a nice one to get in.
Yeah, I mean, I was just turned 19, 20. And just racked up appearances. We was in a tough season. We was near the bottom of the League 2, and it got to the last 2 games of the season. I scored 6 goals, all in wins, which was kind of what
open play.
Yeah, so 1 penalty and the rest open play.
Right, so the pens hadn't quite come yet. They were on their way.
Well, that was a good thing. It was Chesterfield at home. They were top of the league, absolutely bopping us off the pitch. With Paul Cook, their manager as well. He's actually the manager now. We win a penalty, and our striker who normally takes them is not on the pitch. So the striker who won the penalty was kind of like, do you want it? And as soon as he asked me, I thought maybe there's a bit of doubt in his mind. So I was like, 100%, let me take it. Smash it down the middle. We won 1-0, and then kind of that gave me the confidence to kind of grow. As a
that
player.
must take a lot of confidence in your own ability to step up. And at a young age as well. Like we see that a lot of players breaking into teams. But what's it like being a young kid, 19, 20, 21, but you're playing men's football. You've been told a season ago you're too weak.
Yeah.
What's that like? That's breaking into a first team and actually experiencing men's football but at the high, like at one of the highest levels you can play.
The thing that I struggled with the most was actually playing in front of a big crowd. Like, I'll be thinking like, oh, I'm being watched, but I mean, that does wear off after 6-7 months, but I was quite conscious playing in front of these big crowds. Like, we played Plymouth away, like
they get good crowds in Plymouth as well.
We played Portsmouth away later on when I was I mean, that's the best atmosphere I've ever played in Portsmouth.
Bell and everything ringing. And
Proper. We drew.
Do you hear that on the pitch?
Yeah.
It's mad.
Definitely hear it on the bench because I was on the bench for most of the time when we played at Fratton Park. But so the manager obviously was pretty impressed that I'd kind of taken control of that situation. Scored 6 goals that season, scored some good goals as well. And it come to the penultimate game. We had Bristol Rovers at home. They were in the relegation zone. They beat us. They invaded the pitch. It was like
so that basically saved Bristol Rovers that game.
Well, no, let me get to the end of it. So they've kind of invaded the pitch. They've gone 3 points above us. We're now in the relegation zone with 1 game to play against Torquay. So I'm now thinking, I've just got a taste of this professional life. We could get relegated with 1 game to play. It's kind of over before it started.
Yeah.
We go to Torquay, we win 3-0, but obviously we need Bristol Rovers to lose. Somehow they lost to Mansfield at home. They hit the bar, they hit the post. The goalies was pulling off left, right, and centre. Yeah, and we stayed up and we had a right good party. And then the next season, the manager, got rid of 10, 11 players, and we went to Wembley the next season. We were in the playoffs the whole season and lost on penalties to Southend. So at that level on the non-league or League Two, it can change. Personnel changes so quickly. At Chelsea, for instance, we're not going to be able to get rid of players on 3-4 year contracts this summer, I would imagine. We'll get rid of a few. But yeah. So. And then from there, played a few more games, had some injuries, had some illness, and then, got released there. Went to Woking, and then kind of my part-time non-league journey kind of began then at 24, 23.